world and the seven seas. Sweet dreams are made of these.
Alright tonight, yeah.
Huh? Is it over? Dude, that was so cheesy.
Lot of blood all the way over there in Scandinavia, but with completely unrealistic fear.
It's dusty, and it kind of rounds out at the end. You really see the curve of the Earth.
You think you see the curve of the Earth?
Yeah.
Completely unrealistic fear. I know, because, you know, there's not a...
This is impressive.
Yeah. You should have spent more time in school.
My work, I like to do good stuff.
Yeah.
Well, we are sometimes very, very stupid.
But you knew it was a female kangaroo. That's something. Who could spot that on a motorcycle going 60? This man knows his kangaroos.
We'll be back.
Yeah. We'll see everyone.
Country is so much curved Earth. And without paying much attention to...
And this flattens out any kind of...
A real pleasure to meet you, Art. I've really enjoyed your music.
But you know, I've been just I.
So what did you do?
So we were running a bit low on fuel.
Contact light?
Sort of a hot potato. Here it is, your moment is up.
I should feel so fine. My Valentine, sweet cyanide. Final request, fuck SOS. Spare the radio wave, we can't be saved. Walk with me across the bridge, take a promenade. We shut ourselves down, we ran around, it's summertime.
You make believe in me. Imitation birds, imitation bees, imitation pearls, reality TV, simulated sex, unadultery, imitation love for you.
through their plans against us.
Cleanse you completely of all beliefs, all ideas, all concepts of what life is about.
MTV Music Television, the world's only 24-hour-a-day video music channel. I'm Martha Quinn in for Alan Hunter with Duran Duran, The Police, Def Leppard, and soccer results from Elton John in China in the music news.
Hey, coming up, kids, in this hour, Tori Amos, Rage Against the Machine, the Stone Temple Pilots, not bad. But first, we'll start off with the Smashing Pumpkins, Disarm.
Will the Greater London Authority get more money under the next Labour government if you come in nationally to help the Mayor pursue his green plans?
Yes, because as part of our GB Energy plan, we're going to...
Oh boy, Alice in Chains coming up in this hour, Red Hot Chili Peppers and Goldfinger, don't miss out. But first, it's Oasis with Champagne Supernova.
We'll be investing £3 billion across the country in what we call our local power plan. And one of the reasons I'm so pleased to come here today is it's exactly this kind of project we want to fund, because it's going to mean solar panels on roofs, that cuts bills for schools, more money for the front line. It goes to the choice in this mayoral election.
Hey you guys, sit tight, this is Idalis. I'm bringing you videos, man, of the Cranberries, Cowboy Junkies, Rage Against the Machine, just to name a few. But we're going to kick it off with Pearl Jam. Check it out, this is Alive.
Which is obviously going to come before the general election, between Sadiq, a climate leader, and Susan Hall, who is a climate denier and delayer. And frankly, it will be a global embarrassment for Britain if Susan Hall was elected as the Mayor of London. It would empower and embolden the anti-net zero, flat earth brigade across the world. And, you know, I do want to make clear today in my support for Sadiq that if the Tories are changed to elect the Mayor, you only get one vote, and a vote for any one other by the maximum.
You're not calling Susan Hall a flat earther,
I
are
am.
you?
I absolutely am. I mean, when you share on social media climate denial, climate literally people saying, questioning whether climate change is man-made, that makes you a climate denier, that makes you a flat earther. This is a free conspiracy theory, and I'm afraid there's a lot about where the Conservative Party is going in our country, which is in this direction. I'm proud that over 20 years we've still climate consensus, and I worry about where the Conservative Party is going, but I certainly don't think it's where the people of London
our nature. Things like hate, jealousy, dishonesty, selfishness. And one more thing, but this may be asking too much. I wish there was something we could all take to cure us of stupidity.
You're right. Wake up.
I should probably go home.
Explain to me how you could do.
Wake up.
Here we go.
Go.
What's happening?
Joe.
We don't get fooled again.
Little Lizzie doesn't have time to wait.
Don't get fooled again. No!
That, they're going to say, who put that there? Who put that there? Oh, well.
Good evening, I'm Chubby Trey.
Now and then, I miss you. Oh, now and then, I want you to.
Self-titled solo. It was met with glowing reviews. In an interview a year later, Mike Love stated he was disappointed he and Brian were unable to write songs together for the album. He stated, "I talked to Brian about a year before we even started doing any of the recording. He and I talked about doing a project and he was excited about it, but it never came to fruition at all. We were supposed to be allowed to get together to write songs from scratch like we did in the 60s, but that was never to be."
How y'all are? I'm glad for you to see me, I guarantee. You know, I always like to start these things off with the story, and we're chopping up the various things we're going to put into one of the dishes we're going to cook today. It made me think about these two friends.
Did you know that Earth was actually flat 3 billion years ago? Recent thesis called The 3D Structure of Disk Instability Protoplanets was a basically theory that says Earth was flat few billion years ago. And that thesis got mind-blowing altimetric score just after 6 hours after published, which is equivalent to 15 million YouTube views. And this thesis got graded from Minister of Science of World as Alpha Plus grade, which means possibility of this thesis is right is over 99.7%.
And you must learn to function in the modern world.
The heliocentric globe model is a lie. Ask this pastor, he'll be happy to tell you why. There is no movement and no curvature too. We see beyond the horizon what you think you would do. 8 inches per mile squared is simple enough, right? 1,000 miles per hour is impossible for flight. Spinning, wobbling and orbiting too. Believing the cartoons got you looking a fool. 70 million a day ain't reason enough why. NASA got you confused when you look at the sky. But that's not the worst, there's a much bigger lie. When it breaks up the firmament and it rolls like a scroll, you can't believe it, you better act like you know. Every galaxy and on the white horse he rides, kings of gold and global fight on his thigh. Hide me from the man, from the red, from his mouth. Can't help me now, with the pitiful mouse. For all the haters, deceivers, and lukewarm friends. Judgment coming soon.
Did you learn?
So it's time to get right while you still have a breath.
And Wells, and I've been quoting from another Wells, no relation, H.
The flat Earth belief has gained a surprising foothold in recent years, fueled by the power of storytelling and social media. Flat Earth videos employ compelling narratives and hooks to appeal to diverse mindsets, from biblical literalists to scientific-minded individuals. The success highlights the importance of understanding how narratives attract viewers. Addressing the belief requires engaging the community, encouraging open-mindedness, and providing evidence-based information. Scientists and educators are encouraged to create informative videos to counteract conspiracy theories and promote critical thinking. The flat Earth phenomenon serves as a cautionary tale about the power of storytelling and the need for critical thinking. We can better navigate online narratives and make informed decisions. The flat Earth belief often comes packaged with a broader distrust in institutions and authorities, making effective engagement crucial. Researchers found many flat Earth believers were initially exposed through videos of 9/11 views. The flat Earth belief, while seemingly harmless, can lead to a broader rejection of scientific consensus and distrust in institutions. The success of certain flat Earth videos lies in their ability to appeal to diverse mindsets through compelling storytelling. Addressing the rise of the flat Earth belief requires providing accurate information, promoting critical thinking, and engaging those susceptible to misinformation.
Do is not, but I think it is. And
here it is all back in my face.
I can't handle 2 or 3 weeks of this. And I got really, really depressed.
Successfully land the spacecraft on the moon, but India is the only country that has ever landed near the moon's south pole, and that's significant.
Here to explain why this is so significant, we have astrophysicist and author Neil deGrasse Tyson here to break it down for us. Good morning to you,
Good morning.
Neil.
Good morning.
So let's put this in perspective here. Why is this landing so close to the moon's south pole so significant?
Well, so you may know that the farther away from the equator you go, the lower the sun's arc is in the sky.
Okay.
Until you're near the poles, the sun just barely ambles above the horizon.
Okay.
The same is true on the moon. If you go to the South Pole, where there are craters that have rims, the altitude of the sun over the horizon is not high enough to reach the bottom of the crater. So it's literally where the sun don't shine.
Okay.
And so, so when the moon's hit by asteroids and comets have water. If water lands in those places, they're called cold traps, and the water never goes away.
Well, that's the key there, the water. So you're near water, and that's interesting. But what I found surprising is water is something that may actually be able to be transformed into fuel.
Yeah, so you can drink water,
yeah.
But if you separate the hydrogen and the oxygen, H2O, and bring them back together, it is rocket fuel. And you know what the exhaust is? Water. Okay. Yeah, so it's pretty clean rocket fuel, and that's the main engine of the space shuttle. That big orange tank that they used, that's hydrogen and oxygen being merged together to create the thrust to put that puppy into orbit.
Wow.
We understand you actually met with the Indian Prime Minister earlier this summer. What did you to talk about with regard to space exploration?
That was his first comment. He says, here are our plans for space. We want to involve private enterprise. We want to grow. I said, yeah, good. I said, try to make sure everybody's involved because then the whole country can participate. Because India's a diverse community of ethnicities and religions. And I said, that way the whole country can share in these visions. And maybe ambitions in space could be one of the greatest forces of peace.
I was just about to say, and unify it.
A unifying force of peace for everyone's
unifying
future.
Force of peace.
Yeah.
Let's let that marinate for a minute.
Yes.
Thank you, Neil. Happy that you came to see us.
You got
Thank
it.
you.
Hey, thanks for watching. Don't miss the Today Show every weekday at 11 a.m. Eastern, 8 Pacific on our streaming channel, Today All Day. To watch, head to today.com/allday or click the link right here.
Uncensored.
blood on dusty floor just to see you again. Glasses in those cracks to my eyes, the pain I feel can't stop. Oh, them loose teeth in my face, and I can't recognize the really am what I thought I could be. Cut feet and broken dreams as the wind just passes through me. I can't seem to cry around evil. No, no, no.
Jealous.
Your membership pack.
What's this?
You put that sticker on your car so you won't get any tickets. And this other one keeps paramedics from stealing your wallet while we're working on you.
Oh, and don't bother calling 911 anymore. Here's the real number.
Previous Julian calendar was messing up in
Have you ever stopped for a moment and pondered the shape of the Earth? Is it a perfect sphere, a slightly squashed ball, or could it possibly be flat? Today, we delve into the existence of a society that championed the idea that the Earth is flat. In the year 1956, a man named Samuel Shelton took it upon himself to found a society that believed in a theory that was quite contrary to popular scientific consensus. This society was devoted to one idea. The Earth is not a globe, but a flat plane. The basis of this theory, Shelton claimed it was nothing more than common sense and personal observation. He dismissed the scientific consensus that the Earth is a sphere as dogmatic, implying that scientists were making this claim without sufficient evidence. Even when confronted with satellite images of our planet, Shelton refused to be swayed. He insisted that these photos were nothing more than forgeries. This steadfast belief in a flat Earth didn't die with Shelton in 1971. Leadership of the society passed to Charles Johnson, who continued to champion the idea that the Earth is flat, and those who disagreed were part of a massive conspiracy to hide the real shape of the Earth. However, without Johnson's leadership after his death in 2001, the society crumbled. Critics of the Flat Earth Society argue that its members simply reject any evidence that conflicts with their worldview, offering no substantial alternative theories in return. It's interesting to note that the concept of a round Earth isn't a modern discovery. Centuries ago, the ancient Greeks deduced that the Earth must be curved by measuring shadows. This understanding paved the way for astronomers to conclude that the world is indeed
I don't know
round.
anything offhand that mystifies
The popular
Americans
myth that
more
people
than
during
the cotton
Christopher
they put in
Columbus's
pill
voyages
bottles.
believed the Earth
Why
to be
do they
flat
do it?
is a fallacy.
He is America's
The debate
grouch
during his time
in
wasn't
chief.
about the shape of the Earth, but
make
about
my
its
living
size.
having
So,
opinions.
to summarize,
All I'm saying
the
is,
Flat Earth Society, founded by Samuel Shelton in 1956, staunchly advocated for the idea that the Earth is flat, rejecting scientific consensus. Despite the Society's dissolution in 2001, this belief persists among some circles, serving as a reminder of the diverse and often conflicting ways humans perceive our world. Whether the Earth is round or flat might seem obvious to many, but for others it's a question that still evokes passionate debate.
What are you at?
This is my style. I come in and I take over.
Okay. Tom Petty is called The Last DJ because it's a lot of fun. I think it was a little more interesting.
Who, along with Neil Armstrong, landed on the moon and took mankind's most historic first steps. And Buzz, it is really an honor to meet you.
Oh, it's so nice to be here.
How are you?
Oh, I'm fine, thanks.
Are
nice
you?
to be back in Boston.
Yes, you have experience here.
Oh, I went to MIT for a good number of years and really learned so many things that equipped me to be in the right place at the right time later on.
Can you even describe the moment of landing on the moon? You do a very good job, I think, in the book. But for those who haven't got those pages in front of them.
Well, it was maybe the longest 11 minutes of my life. That's what it took from the time the descent engine ignited until we touched down on the surface of the moon. And you have to realize this was the first time, really, that a throttleable rocket engine with liquid propellant had been designed, and tested, and used to carry out this thing. Of course, there's no atmosphere on the moon, so you can't use wings, and wheels wouldn't do you too much good, so we had to we came down the descent with the engine and the landing gear first, as we were moving in orbit. We were face down initially, and then about halfway through the descent, we yawed around and began to see the Earth out in front of us. and then pitched over slowly. The radar started gathering some information from the ground, the lunar ground, telling us what our velocity was, and then all of a sudden we started getting computer alarms. And we hadn't seen this before. And fortunately, the people back in Houston The computer experts were able to rather quickly analyze the problem, and they saw that the computer was slowing down a little bit because it was getting a lot of information processed. It was okay for us to go, and they gave us a go. And at 500 feet, Neil took over manually and redirected to miss some boulders that were on the ground, and stretched our landing a little bit longer. The computer already was taking us about 4 miles long. The net result was we were short on fuel.
And also, there was a big fear that the Sea of Tranquility under you might give way. I mean, no one had ever disturbed this planet, 1 billion years of age. And when I was reading about, you're saying that you managed to look around and catch a glimpse of Earth hanging in the infinite space. Last couple of days, I've been even trying to, I can't even imagine what that all felt like.
Well, we weren't really that concerned with it. Can never die. Unmanned surveyor spacecraft had landed and had taken pictures of where they landed, and we all felt very sure that it was going to be quite compact and hard.
What did it do to you emotionally?
Well, of course, I was very wrapped up in the space program. It was my second flight, and I had been a fighter pilot before. I was in the Korean War, and I'd come here to MIT and sharpened up a new field of knowledge in the orbital mechanics, the maneuvering of objects in space. And I selected that as my thesis, and it was a very wise choice on my part because it really helped qualify me to get in the program.
But emotionally, when you stand on the moon for the first time, what does it do to you when you have to come back to Earth and depressurize in this society?
Well, I think it's not exactly the trip that causes the reaction maybe that sets in afterward. It's the way that people look at you differently. You're now a hero. You have to figure out how exactly to live up to that.
Very tough.
Yes. I decided to write a book about some of the experiences that I had had.
You made him return to Earth in your book? Yeah, and you talked about depression.
Well, you see, I wasn't really sure what I wanted to do. Staying around the space program while other people went back to the moon didn't really strike me as the thing to do. I was a dedicated young person, a young man when I went to West Point, and I was very strongly patriotic about the Korean War. And I decided that the Air Force had given me this education at MIT, and I wanted to leave NASA and go back to the Air Force. Things didn't work out really as well as perhaps they might have in retrospect. I think it was an extremely challenging position to put somebody in command of test pilot school and he'd never had any experience testing airplanes or been through any formal test training. So I found myself a little bit of a fish out of water, very dedicated to the things that I'd studied, and our space program was just really going nowhere at that time.
Well, did our space program get so caught up in politics that after putting men on the moon, is that why we lost our edge?
Well, it's politics that causes things of that nature to come about in the first place. You just can't say that a human species is going to exist on the Earth and then all of a sudden one day say to itself, gee, I think I'll put something in orbit, and then once it's in orbit, I'll put some guys up there.
We give the politics credit for starting it, but then can we also give the politics credit for slowing it down?
Yes. Short-term politics.
The application of space, you now, that is where you are. You are looking at that, that's your field. Are we using it properly? Because you write about the fact that energy is right above us and we could grab it.
Well, energy is not quite as available, even though it's right above us in the form of solar power. It is available in the form of force certain nations to want to free themselves of the burden of energy. And Japan certainly is very energy poor, and they're on the verge of being able to develop solar power satellites from some place or another. And I wouldn't be surprised what that's high on their agenda. I think the Soviets also want to do that.
This trip you made 20 years ago, what did it do to your perception of your own significance in the world? Does it change as you look back on the planet hanging in space?
Well, I think just to be able to respond to questions like that, we've had to reevaluate how we look at things. I guess in some ways I've faced some personal development challenges, and have had to reevaluate where I stand in the universe and in my own life. And done a little bit of reappraising as to what's important and is the pursuit of my selfish objectives, is that significant, or is it more important for me to feel good about how I am in terms of helping other people?
And I assume
and I've had to do that.
The latter's the better?
Yes, I've had to do that.
Nice to meet you, Buzz, and I mean that.
Information from the ground, the lunar ground, telling us what our velocity was, and then all of a sudden we, bang, started getting computer alarms. And we hadn't seen this before. And fortunately, the people back in Houston, the computer experts, were able to rather quickly analyze the problem, and they saw that the computer was slowing down a little bit because it was getting a lot of information to process, but it was okay for us to go, and they gave us a go. And
We don't get fooled again. Don't get fooled again. No, 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 no!
OGOs, OAOs, IMPs, RAEs, and other scientific satellites carry the experiments of famous scientists from many nations. This achievement can only be understood by measuring it against generations of scientific endeavor. Let's step back to that rainy day in 1752.
Fighting in the streets with our children at our feet. The morals that they worship will be gone. The man who spurred us on said the judgment all wrong. They decide and the shotgun sings the song. I'll tear my head to new Constitution and look out for the new revolution. I ain't free, she's all around. Give my guitar away. Just like yesterday, I'll be on my knees today. You don't get fooled again.
Okay, so I finally found an angle where the light is coming in and it makes me look good, so I'm very excited about that because I've been like going all over the apartment trying to find a place where it didn't look like I was headless or like super grainy or like super washed out, so dark glow, and it's very special. Where are you now? Pussy willow that smiled on the sleeve. When I was alone, you promised a stone from your heart. My head kissed the ground. I was half the way down, treading the sand. Please, please lift a hand. I'm only a person whose armbands beat on his hands. And oh, won't you miss me? Wouldn't you miss me at all? The poppy birds sway, swings, twigs, coffee, brand around, brandish her wand with a feathery tongue. My head kissed the ground. I was half the way down, treading the sand. Please, please I'm only a person, I'm asking on chain. I have tattooed my brain. Won't you miss me? Wouldn't you miss me at all? Oh, where are you now? Pussy with all its smile on this field. When I was alone, you promised the stone from your heart. My head kissed the ground, and I was half away. Down, treading the sand. Please.